It's where all the cool kids go. The friendly info will show you around. We reward him with the fresh souls of our customers. Candles, t-shirts, winter tees, and so much more. Lights on deck, horror shop you will never want to leave. Your friendly info will show you around. We reward him with the fresh souls of our customers. Candles, t-shirts, leather tees, and so much more. Deadites on deck, horror shop you will never want to leave.
All messed up.
Howdy, gang, and welcome to yet another episode of They're All Messed Up. Hey, Blissful. Thank you for saying the intro is amazing. Actually, believe it or not, I worked very hard to get that intro to look and sound like it does. So I do hope that people are enjoying the new intros with vocals that I'm putting on a lot of the programming. But tonight we're going to be talking about Four Flies on Gray Velvet, directed by Dario Argento, and the Iguana with the Tongue of Fire, which I actually have copies, physical copies of both of these. Four Flies on Gray Velvet is my copy. This is Steve's Arrow release of the Iguana with the Tongue of Fire. And so I was able to watch that today. Actually, I watched both of them, but it was a rewatch on Four Flies on Gray Velvet because I've seen that multiple times. But this was a first ever viewing of the Iguana with the Tongue of Fire that I remember. I don't remember watching it with Steve or anything like that. Going to get a little housekeeping stuff out of the way, and then we're going to get started talking about these movies, in particular the kills in each of these films. And of course, I'm going to be doing my rating using the Deadites rating scale. So you guys and gals can look forward to all of that. I hope we have a few more come in before I'm done. But if not, y'all feel free to watch this on the replay. As I have said throughout all of these streams this week, I am on vacation this week. My sadly. My vacation's coming to an end here shortly. I do have to work for 4 hours on Saturday, but after having a week off, I'm not going to quibble, one way or the other. It worked out so that I could go to Nashville with Steve to visit a friend of his and his friend's wife. So we had a good time in Nashville. And if someone hadn't switched with me, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So I got her Saturday and she got mine. So, I feel I owe it to her to do this and not say, well, I don't want to work that Saturday either. So, anyways, what do we got coming up? Well, for Friday, we got a double dose of me. I don't know if I'm going to have anybody with me for the childhood nightmares don't go to sleep watch along. But if you are interested and you see me talking about this, be sure to let me know. And I will make sure you get the link to come on and talk all things Don't Go to Sleep with Me tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time is when we're going to start. It is available on YouTube if you want to watch it beforehand. And also, if you're going to be joining me for the watch along, you want to watch along as I am discussing it, you can find it on YouTube. So, we also have me and Candace are planning on doing a Friday Foolish if all goes well tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be talking about things that we sell, things that we're planning on selling when we start selling at the conventions, all of that good stuff. So I think this is going to be a fun Friday Foolish tomorrow. Also, we're going to be kicking off a full segment of Totally Trivia, and me and Candace are going to be giving each other some trivia questions for horror films from 1980, not from the 1980s, but from the year 1980. So that's sure to be a fun time. You guys and gals feel free to play along during Totally Trivia. And so we have a rescheduled watch along that I didn't get to do this past Saturday because I was in Nashville and got back too late. But that is for Terror at 10 Killer. That will be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday. Sunday, I'm planning on doing a pre-recorded movie munchies for a Scooby and Shaggy's Colossal Sandwich and Velma's Jinkies Lemonade, also known as Lost My Glasses Lemonade. This is one that you can bring the kids and grandkids in on. It's not a gory one or anything like that. And maybe the kids could help you, make the sandwich and make the lemonade. I think it's fun to mix it up a little bit sometimes. Also, as always, during live streams, and that includes watch alongs, if you give a $5 or more super chat, you can pick any movie of your choosing for me to do a review on Movie Roulette. I've got a Movie Roulette coming up. I'm going to be talking about Steve's pick, which was A Night to Dismember, and Menelek's pick for Signs. So I'm going to be discussing both of those here very, very shortly. I also want to show. Now, I'm going to try to show here the new Poe logos that are soon going to be available as a t-shirt design on Deadites on Deck. So I have two different versions. So this is the first one. It's got cute little Poe there. He's officially become the mascot for the Deadites on Deck horror shop at deaditesondeck.com. So, like I said, that's one version. I think Signs is a great pick too, Blissful. It's been a while since I've seen it. Um, to let, oops, not invite. So let's show you guys the other one. And this is the other one. Steve said he liked the original one better, but I like to give people choices. So I made a couple of designs that people will be able to pick from. Well, thank you, Bliss. Well, I think he's cute too. I really, really, have built a persona around Poe. And yeah, it took me a while to decide on his name. And I was looking through, different horror related names, and I came across Poe, for Edgar Allan Poe. And I was like, that's his name. Poe is his name. So hop on over to deadicesondeck.com and tell them Poe sent you. Okay. So I think that's all the announcements I had. So let's get to these movies. So the first one, like I said, is a Dario Argento directed film, Four Flies on Gray Velvet. And so I'm going to talk about the kills, give a little bit of a plot synopsis, and give my rating as always, and then we'll move on to the second one. So this came out in 1971. We have a total of 6 kills in the film. So we have a man who is stabbed and falls to his death. Supposedly, we find out later in the film that this death was faked, but I still include it. A woman gets her throat slit. A man is bashed in the head and strangled with wire. A man has a heart attack brought on by a syringe of poison injected into his heart. A woman is slashed and falls down steps. And I mean, you see her head hit every step. And then she's stabbed on top of that. Then the most spectacular kill, in my opinion, of the entire movie happens at the end. A woman is decapitated after crashing into the back of a truck. And you see the head bounce and roll and bounce, and then her car explodes. So, pretty spectacular in my opinion. So, what is Four Flies on Gray Velvet about, and why does it have the title Four Flies on Gray Velvet? Well, I'm going to explain a little bit of that to you. I'm not going to tell you who the killer is, because there might be a lot of you or some of you that either are watching this now, watch it on the replay or whatever, that have not seen it and don't want the ending spoiled and want to know who the killer is, okay? Because I realize that everybody has not seen all of these films that I've seen. Okay, so we start out, it kind of reminds me of Deep Red, how it starts out. At least the one version of Deep Red, I think that's probably the Italian version that starts out with Mark and some other musicians playing. So this movie opens up with a rock band practicing and recording and all that stuff. So the drummer is, I don't know, he always seemed like he had a chip on his shoulder a little bit, you know, throughout this entire movie. And some people have said that he's not a very interesting character as far as being pretty much the main character of the film. And he does seem a little less ambitious, I guess, than some of the other lead characters in other Argento films. But I still like this film. I like the setup. I like the kills in it. I like the spectacular ending. I like the reveal of the killer and all of that. Um, so for whatever reason, this guy keeps following our main character around. And he finally confronts the guy. He says, "Why are you following me?" And the guy's real cagey. He won't answer him. And they end up getting into a fight. The guy uh, pulls a knife on him. And so he ends up turning the tables on the guy, stabs him. And then the guy supposedly falls to his death. We find out later that this is a setup that the killer has put in place, just so they can try to frame the guy. Okay, because somebody is up in the balcony taking pictures, and they have this mask on. And I don't know. I think that mask is pretty creepy. I don't know what y'all think, but it. I just always thought that mask was very, very creepy. And so then after that, our lead keeps getting letters, little notes and stuff like that, and they've cut the letters and the words out of magazines and stuff, and kind of glued them on there. They do that, so you can't recognize handwriting and stuff like that. Um so Mimsy Farmer plays his girlfriend, or not his girlfriend, I'm sorry, his wife, in the film. And a lot of people don't much care for Mimsy Farmer either. In movies, they say she kind of sleepwalks through movies. And, I've seen her do that quite a bit in movies. And sometimes I feel like she just overreacts or overacts, I guess I should say. But that may have been how she was told to play some of these parts. Okay. So this is also the third, and this is the third feature film for Dario Argento, but it's the final film of his legendary Animal trilogy. Okay. Um, so, he's getting, these notes and stuff like that, and he keeps having a nightmare about about a man being decapitated over and over again. And he wakes up in a cold sweat and all of that. And, he tries to explain to his wife what he's going through, and she really doesn't understand it, but she tries. And we are also seeing flashbacks that the killer is having. Evidently, the killer was abused by their father. They were beat by their father, and you hear what appears to be a young boy saying, I'm sorry, and crying, and the father saying, "Don't be weak. I didn't want a weak son," and just, you can hear him slapping the kid around, beating on him and stuff like that. And then you see a padded room. So you're led to believe that, the kid grew up and they ended up in a mental hospital at some point in time. Um, so there's more and more deaths, as I outlined a little bit earlier, that occur throughout the film. And then we are, uh, the killer's revealed, and uh, we have near the end, we have that spectacular death scene, which I said is the best death scene in the film. Uh, so, is it my favorite Argento film? No, it's not. Like I said, Deep Red and Tenebrae and ones like that hold a special place in my heart. But I still think Four Flies on Gray Velvet is a worthy entry into Dario Argento's catalog of films. I don't understand the dislike for it. I haven't really heard hate in reference to this film, but there is evidently a certain uh, portion of Argento fans that don't much care for Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Um, so I told you I was going to tell you, how does Four Flies on Grey Velvet fit in here? So they have this theory, and I don't think that this is a real theory, but there's a theory within the movie that when a person is killed, the image of the last thing they saw before they died, and in some cases, if they had been murdered, the killer would be retained in an image on the eye, and that they within this movie had this process. And when they do this with one of the victims, they see that there are four flies reflected back, and they're like, well, what is that? And somebody says, what appears to be flies or a fly. Okay. So I don't want to give too much more because it might spoil the ending for you. So, but I did want to explain the Four Flies on Grey Velvet a little bit to you, in case anybody cared about that. So, what rating would I give this one? I'm sorry if I seem a little off my game, folks. I've been like, even though I've been on vacation, I've still been really sleepy between about the hours between 4 and 6. I just get so sleepy I can barely hold my eyes open. So, um, so we'll get back to this. So that if I seem a little off, that's why. So I am going to give this one 4 deadites out of 5 because I really, really think this is a decent Giallo film. I think it's a decent Dario Argento film. I don't find any really big flaws with it. Some people have said it's slow. They don't like the main character. The only thing I don't like about the main character is he cheats on his wife with her sister. And he acts like it's just totally no big deal. And she does too. And I'm like, that is just so sleazy. But if I had anything that I disliked about the main character, that would be it. So moving on from Four Flies on Grey Velvet to the Iguana with the Tongue of Fire. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I was not a fan of this one. This one had great kills in it, but other than that, I just wasn't that keen on it. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the kills in the Iguana with the Tongue of Fire. This came out in 1971 as well, directed by Ricardo Freda. I'm not sure which. So we have a woman that has acid splashed in her face, and then she gets her throat slit. Very bloody. And the acid, going on the face, like just takes her skin right off. Then we have a man who puts a gun in his mouth and blows his brains out. So we have two different suicides in this. A man gets his throat slit. A man has acid splashed in his face, and then his throat is slit. So we're seeing kind of like a theme here. A woman gets her throat slit. And then a man commits suicide by jumping out of a window and landing on a car. And there are 6 kills in this film as well. Okay, so what is the Iguana with the Tongue of Fire about? Liz, will you say that wasn't me? Oh, are you talking about that, like that noise? No, somebody liked my actual picture of Poe. Actually, my neighbor liked my picture of Poe, and one of the logos I have. Um, so this again was one of several of the animal in the title cash-ins released in the wake of Dario Argento's Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Um, they call it a gloriously excessive giallo that boasts a rogues gallery of perverse characters, violent fetishized murders, and one of the genre's most nonsensical red herring laden plots. Which I would agree with that. It does have the worst red herring laden plot. There's too many red herrings in this movie. Um, because almost every character is a red herring in this movie. And I'm like, oh God, there's too many red herrings. So this is also set in Dublin, which is unusual because usually these Jallos, it even says it's a rather surprising Jallo setting. Usually you see these in Italy primarily, but there have been some Spanish Jallos and others. But Dublin is not normally where I would imagine a Jallo to be. So we kick off the movie with that fantastic kill of the woman getting acid splashed in her face, and then her throat is slit. Um, so then her corpse is found in a limousine, the trunk of a limousine owned by a Swiss ambassador, um, Ambassador Sobeski, I think, played by Anton Differing from Where Eagles Dare, in case you've seen Where Eagles Dare. I have not. And a police investigation, is launched. Okay. Um, but then the murdering, keeps continuing, and you are so confused, or I was confused by, for instance, the ambassador's wife has this like one of a kind lighter, right? So when one person is killed, they find her lighter there. Okay. So suspicions on her. Um, their, I guess their driver, he has like pink eye, I think, and he wears these sunglasses. He has something wrong with his eyes where he can't get the bright light in there. And when one person is killed, or not, no, this woman gets her throat slashed, but she doesn't die. That's the ambassador's wife. You find a little sliver that appears to have come out of these glasses, and the driver's glasses are broken. Okay. So it could be anybody, basically. But again, I thought it had way too many red herrings. Um, so the ambassador ends up claiming diplomatic immunity. He's like, basically, you can't do anything to me, okay? So an ex-cop, played by Luigi Pastilli from A Bay of Blood, and I recognized him whenever I saw him. I was like, oh yeah, he was in Bay of Blood. And his name is John Norton. He's brought in by the police to, even though he's an ex-cop, he's brought in to help with the investigation. Um, Again, other than some great kills in this, brutal kills in this, I would say that this movie doesn't have a whole lot going for it. I would much rather watch Four Flies on Gray Velvet, which some people seem to have problems with, than I would The Iguana with the Tongue of Fire again. Now, am I telling you don't watch it? No, no, of course not. I'm watching all of these stuff that I never would have dreamed that I would watch in a million years. Um, oh, hey, Ice Ice Buoy. You say, hello, Dana. Hope all is going well. Sorry I haven't been around as much. Life got hectic. Glad to see you on today. Well, I'm glad to see you in here. I'm sorry things have been so hectic. I understand completely how that is. I'm enjoying my week long vacation because work has just been about to kill me. It's been about to do me in. So I'm going to have to take it easy on myself the coming week. That's why I told him, I said, I'm not working all this overtime this next week. And if stuff don't get done, it just don't get done. You know. So um anyway, if I can give a rating for the iguana with the tongue of fire, I'm going to give it 3 deadites out of 5 at best. Like I said, I'm not telling you guys and gals not to watch it. Give it a try. I'm not sure if it's, I didn't even look for it because, Steve had his copy. But I would try the usual suspects. I'd try YouTube and Tubi and all that. Uh, Definitely don't go out and spend your hard-earned money on either one of these. Find a for free version first, or borrow it from a friend or family member that might have it, before you even think about, spending hard-earned money. Now, after you watch one or both of these, if you determine that, hey, this is something that I would watch more than once, then definitely, you could think about purchasing it at that point in time. Um, but I guess that is all I have for tonight. But I do want to remind you that tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Candace and I are having another Friday Foolish. We're going to be talking about the stuff that we sell, stuff that we're planning on selling in the future when we start selling at conventions. We're going to be sharing all things about that tomorrow. Like I said, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We're also going to kick off a full segment of Totally Trivia. And me and Candace are going to be asking each other 5 questions about horror films from 1980. Again, not from the 1980s, from the year 1980. Um, you can't wait for that, Blissful? Well, I can't wait either. I'm really looking forward to having another Friday Foolish show with Candace. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night, I am kicking off Childhood Nightmares with a watch along for a movie that scared the pants off of me when I was a kid. 1982's Don't Go to Sleep, made for TV movie. I think you guys and gals are really going to enjoy it. You can check it out on YouTube. You can watch it beforehand if you've never seen it. It has Valerie Harper and Dennis Weaver in it. And yeah, I think we're really going to have a good time. And again, that is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. No dolls, LOL. I think there's some dolls in it, but they don't play a principal part in the scariness that's going on. Um, but I'm hoping to have Steve on with me for the next one I do, which won't be a watch along. It will be talking about Salem's Lot, the mini series from the 70s. And Steve's gonna, hopefully I can get him on here and share his stories of a movie that scared the pants off of him when he was a kid. And he thought the vampires were going to come get him. So stay tuned for that coming up, hopefully sooner rather than later. I've got to put up an unboxing that Steve did for Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter that he got from Hammer, directly from Hammer in the UK. It's a really nice package, so y'all stay tuned for that. Yeah, exactly. Ninja Steve. And Ninja Steve's in bed right now. But let's see. And then we got the watch along for Saturday, which is a rescheduled watch along that I didn't get to do last Saturday because I was in Nashville and got back too late. But that will be for Terror at 10 Killer. It is going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Be sure to get your votes in. I think I'm going to cut off the voting Sunday evening for the next sets of films that I'm going to do watch alongs for. So, graduation day and April Fool's Day are the winners right now. But if you want to get your votes in, have your voice heard, go ahead on over to my channel and be sure to get your vote in for those. Sunday, there will be hopefully be another Movie Munchies dropping. It will be pre-recorded. I'm going to be making Scooby and Shaggy's Colossal Sandwich paired with Velma's Jinkies Lemonade, also known as Lost My Glasses Lemonade. And yeah, I think that is all for the rest of the week. I'm going to have a movie roulette coming up as well. I'm going to be talking about A Night to Dismember and Signs. A Night to Dismember was chosen by my husband, and Signs was chosen by Menelect, who gave a $7 super chat. So keep in mind, during any live streams, including watch alongs, if you give a $5 super chat or more, you can pick any movie you like for me to do a review on in an upcoming movie roulette. So got all of that coming up here soon. And oh, I also want to remind everybody, if you go to deadicesondeck.com, check out all the t-shirts and candles and blended teas and tote bags and hats and all that good stuff. I also do custom work. Just fill out the form on the home page and send me what you would like me to create for you, and I'll see if we can make a deal, okay? But I have a couple of promotions going on the site right now, or on the shop. Candle Craze 25. If you enter that at checkout, you can buy one candle and get one free. Also, I have a second one. If you spend $30 or more in the shop, you get $10 off your order by using promo code SlasherSpring25 at checkout. So be sure to check all of that out and tell them Poe sent you. And remember that the logos with Poe are going to be coming up here shortly. I will show those to you guys and gals here again. There's one version. And here's the second version. Okay, so I guess that is all from me. I want to thank everybody that joined me in the chat tonight. Blissful and Ice Buoy. Also, if you didn't feel comfortable getting in the chat, but you were watching along as I discussed these films, I want to thank you as well. And anybody that watches this on the replay, thank you in advance. And as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. And thank you, Blissful, for saying it was a great live. I had a lot of fun. I've been having a lot of fun all this week doing these live streams. And also, everybody have a fantastic rest of your Thursday night, folks. We're getting ever closer to the weekend. And I'm out of here. But I'll see everybody next time.